this computer. Share the screen. Okay, so Lake, I think all of you know, right? Lake's journey a little bit, but what's cool is Lake's gonna give you guys some tips on, hold on, let me figure out what I'm trying to say here. Okay, he's going to share the travel opportunity because we just got back from a fun trip to Jamaica. It was a lot of fun. And then we're about to go to Cayman Islands here in a couple of days. It's kind of crazy. And he's really taken advantage of the vector travel opportunity, along with he took advantage of the spring break opportunity. And so many of you are going to be going big over spring break because of the March Madness bracket and because you need income and you don't have the excuse of school. So really to get after it, and Lake knows how to go big for pushes. So thank you, Lake. Let's give it up for Lake.
All right, so I guess the first part of this is going to be kind of an activity mapping out what it would look like to, hit your goal. So one of our key themes in the Northwoods division now is champions know their numbers. So do you guys know your average order and your closing ratio? You familiar with that? Okay, so using your average phoning numbers accompanied with your average order and all the results that you're getting, you should be able to map out a plan. So I have I use blank sheets of paper and I have a bunch of scribbled maps basically. I really wanted to hit the Jamaica push and I needed 7,500. So I sat down and with my average order, you always want to be on the lower side compared to your average order. So when you're making the plan, even if your average order is 500, you still want, to map it out as if it was 300 in case you have a bad week or two. So you guys did, everyone does really well and there's a lot of hype around the January program. However, I mean, what's the difference really between the January program and spring break? Literally nothing. It's a little bit longer, but you can still come back for a week, work a Monday through Friday. If you treat the job like a 9 to 5, you're going to make a good chunk of money over your spring break. So the first thing I would say is you really need to map out your spring break, what you want to accomplish personally. If you want a day where you just sit in and watch basketball, yeah, let's do it. So map your life, map Cutco around your life when you're making the plan, but also don't be afraid to be aggressive with your goals, because the higher your goal is, no matter what, in my opinion, I'm not a fan of being able to necessarily hit your goals. It's certainly nice. But if you set a really high goal, you're more than likely to just naturally do better, just because of the high goal that you set. So if you set your goal at $5,000, say maybe you hit 4, you set it at 10, you hit 6 or 7 just because your goal was higher. So yeah, when it comes to spring break, just treat it like a January program or treat it like a summer. Because the amazing thing about this opportunity is you can make a crap load of money in a little amount of time. So yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts over spring break. Just make a plan and commit to it. And our results from January program were very good. I thought people generally did pretty good. A lot of people were in the $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 range. So why can't you do that again? So just treat spring exactly like January program, or if you were to treat, SC2. And the great thing is if you guys are, planning on, obviously you guys are all planning on sticking around for the summer, if you treat spring break like an SC2, you're going to be that much more confident and prepared for SC2 going into it this summer, or SC1, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I have for spring break. Now, lastly, the travel opportunity. It's the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. So it was amazing, but I want to talk about a few things. So if you plan on sticking around in this business for a while, you're going to want to develop relationships with the people that are elite for one, and the people that you're going to be spending a lot of time with, whether it's at conferences or traveling. So hitting the trips is super important because you can develop relationships with people that you wouldn't necessarily get to. So if you guys know who Seabass is or Michael Foreman, all those guys, I literally before the trip had not said a word to them, and I spent the entire trip with them. Seabass is like an insane DM in Chicago who's doing super, super, super well. So just building those relationships, it's a really good networking opportunity. You know, if you plan on being in the business for a while, like you should develop relationships with the people that you're going to be spending a lot of time with. As far as the way Vector travels, it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Everything's just like you're on your feet. Like we'll be up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and we'll be up at like 9 in the morning. Everyone's sharp, ready for breakfast. So it's definitely a different lifestyle. Another thing is, I think these trips are a lot like, you know, what social media is to us. So everyone sees, like, on social media, everyone just sees our highlight reel. They don't see, like, you know, the next day after the crazy party that you had when you're feeling like crap and you're down in the dumps. It's the same thing with these trips. Nobody sees the work that you put in. Like, I'm, Monday morning, 5 a.m., heading down to Appleton to go to the Cayman Islands for a week. No one saw the side of me where I was, like, by myself in my office, like, bawling because I had no idea what the heck I was doing. So, yeah, I guess just put in the work. You're not necessarily going to be, like, recognized when you're putting in the work behind the scenes, but the rewards are pretty awesome. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I think we have some videos if we have some time.
I'll see if I can pull them up. I would like 2 things. I'd like you guys to ask Lake a few questions. I'll have him stay up here. Ask you questions on how to set up your spring break the best way for selling. And while you guys are thinking those questions, I'd love Josh to give a couple, like, takeaways to pound of the travel opportunity, because you had a chance to go travel for the first time out of the country and on Vector.
Yeah.
So can you give us a 1-minute synopsis of what you thought?
Yeah. So with I'm actually going to go over here so that soon people can hear me. But with Jamaica, so that was my first time out of the country, and it was definitely a memorable first time for sure. And so, like, the amount of networking and people that I met there, just like Lake said, that I had no idea who these people were. Like, I knew who Buddy Boyd was because I used his calling script, but actually being able to talk to him.
So you knew his script.
And being able to talk to him and learn from him and see what his systems are and just have a good time with them as well. It's so much more impactful because you're able to see these people. What? Okay.
What? Go ahead.
And just words really cannot describe how amazing the experience really is. Like, during the polar vortex, while you guys were freezing, we're just out in 80-degree weather, sunny, and just having a great time. You know, just spending the time with like 40 of the best people in the world. You know, and just, I don't know. It's so hard to sum something like that up. It's really hard. You just really need to experience it. But yeah, like Lake said, you don't see the work that's put in to build something like that. Like, for a push, there's so much to do, but for because Jason and I, we hit it differently. You know, there's different qualifications for managers. Nobody really saw the days that Jason and I were sitting in the office, like, alone, texting hundreds and hundreds of people a day, getting those people scheduled to build the January that we had. That January didn't just happen. You know, there's so much work that needs to be put in, but like Lake said, the reward is absolutely incredible. It's just amazing. Words really can't describe it. So, like Lake said, the advice that I would give for all of you is just really commit to putting in the work so that you can experience something as amazing as that.
Think about traveling to a tropical place with the most positive and spontaneous person that you ever met, and then times by like 40, and like those are the people that were there.
Exactly.
It was
incredible.
Unfathomable.
Oh boy. All right, so all right, so we're going to so now think about some questions while I pull up a few videos. I don't know if they're going to be appropriate or not, we'll see. But I think they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah,
But they should be okay. All right. I just randomly sent some videos here. So in the meantime, while I download some of these, Lake. Oh, so questions. Because I know Lake went through kind of quick, but I really want you guys. I want you guys leaving in the next 5 minutes, leaving this message of, I'm confident in this goal for my spring break. And I'd love Lake to kind of walk you guys through that. Because he went through kind of general, where I want you guys to make sure you guys have your own like spring break plan. So if you can lead them in that for a few minutes, and I'll download these videos.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you handle family and friends who want to see you during the spring break, but you're gonna be gone for most of the day working? How do you handle?
Quality time over quantity. One thing that I think is super important, like with any of your relationships, like with your friends. I mean, Daniel and I don't get to see each other very often because he's in Madison, I'm going to school up here. But yeah, your family's gonna want to see you. But what if you make dinner with them for an hour and a half? That's way more quality versus you just like existing in the house and being there. So I would just say quality over quantity for the time that you spend with anybody, all your relationships.
That's good. Then also, I'd say setting up the right way. So if you guys on Zoom couldn't hear, Ethan asked, how do you handle if you're supposed to be on the spring break and your significant other and your family is like, hang out with me, you're on break. Well, you need to pre-frame it. So this is a big manager skill, is pre-frame it. Hey, babe, I'm coming home for spring break, but I want to care for you and support you. So I'm actually work really hard throughout the day. But you know what? These 3 nights we're going on date nights. This day we're going on a spa day. I'm wining and dining you because I really appreciate you. But I do need to work while I'm on break. So it's pre-framing it.
Are you kind of referring to your girlfriend?
Well, yes, and also family as well.
Okay. Yeah. If you're working really hard and you're making good money, just spoil her and spend better quality time.
What if you have a trip planned over spring break?
So if you are you gone for the week or?
I'm gone from Saturday to Saturday over spring break, so March 13th to March 23rd, or March 16th, March 23rd. I'm going to Daytona Beach.
Okay. I mean,
Don't go.
The closest thing that I can relate to that is I went to Colorado a year or two ago, and I just set up a virtual demo. I made $100 in the morning.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking was bringing my laptop and just doing a couple of virtual demos.
Yeah, but also, so you got a point. Obviously, where are you from originally?
I'm from Freedom.
Okay. I guess with the limited time you have, you can do virtuals while you're there, but you can also just work continuously throughout the week.
Yeah.
So if you need money for,
if I can,
go ahead.
If you're bringing your laptop and you're doing virtual demos there, that trip is now a business expense. Right?
Yeah. There was a guy in Jamaica on Monday night on the beach to hit his K Club streak who did a virtual demo for $150 on the beach in Jamaica that night.
That was E-Train's rep, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he just started, so I'm 20K.
Mm-hmm. Okay.